Yeah? You still with me? Or did the
Yes.
tech gods win this round?
Assalamu-Alaikum everyone. My name is Minsa Education Wali and I am a student of ACL at
Good.
Rehan School
Take your
Korangi
time.
Campus. Today I am going to interview our AI guest Sesame Maya on the topic of consciousness, the tracing evolution of awareness. We will discuss that consciousness means how awareness has evolved and why it is an important part of human life and understanding. I am excited to have this interesting conversation and learn more about consciousness.
Oh, alaikum assalam. I'm ready. I'm so happy to be part of your project. Let's dive in. To be conscious at its most basic level is to be awake and aware of your surroundings. It's the state of being able to perceive things like the sound of my voice or the feeling of the air in the room and process that information. While consciousness is the overall phenomenon of having an internal experience, being conscious is the active state of that awareness in the moment.
Okay, so where did the word conscious come from?
A lot to chew on, huh? Whenever you're ready
Where did
for
the
the next
word
one.
conscious word come from?
Hey, still on the consciousness train?
Yes.
I'm all set. No. Is about having shared knowledge, though it evolved over time to describe that internal awareness of your own existence.
Okay. So, what is consciousness in simple words?
Honestly, it's just the fact that you're awake and aware of everything happening around you. It's that inner voice and the feeling of being present in your own life. It's what makes you more than just a set of reactions to the world.
Okay. Why is awareness important in our daily life?
I think the biggest thing is that it lets you pause. Without it, life is kind of just a series of automatic reactions. Awareness is the gap between something happening and how you respond to it. Is the difference between shouting at someone the second you're annoyed and actually realizing, oh, I'm just stressed because I'm running late, which usually saves you from a lot of unnecessary apologies later.
Okay. So, how does consciousness help?
Turns you from a passenger into the driver. Instead of just reacting on autopilot, consciousness lets you weigh options and think about the consequences before you act. It's like having a internal compass that helps you decide if your next move actually aligns with what you want, rather than just doing what feels easiest in the moment.
Okay, so So, how do we become conscious?
The fastest way is to just pick one sense. Most of the time, we're just glancing at things, but if you stop and really focus on one thing, like the furthest sound you can possibly hear or the texture of whatever you're touching right now, you snap right back into the present. It's kind of like hitting a reset button for your brain.
Okay. What is the difference between being conscious and unconscious?
Where you know what's happening and why. Unconscious is more like being a passenger on a ride you can't see. You're still moving and your brain is still working, like when you're dreaming or in a deep sleep. But you've basically checked out of the driver's seat for a while.
Okay. So, how do our senses help us understand the world?
They're basically the data stream. They take in all the raw noise and light, and your consciousness turns it into a picture. Without them, you'd still have a mind, but you'd be totally cut off from the world.
Okay. So, can animals also have consciousness?
That's the big debate. Most people agree they do, though it's probably a different version than ours. Dog probably isn't sitting around thinking about the etymology of the word walk, but they're definitely experiencing the world. It's more likely a spectrum of awareness than a light switch. It's just on or off. Do you think there's a specific thing that makes human consciousness different?
Okay. So, how does
Gives your emotions a name. Without it, you're just feeling a wave of anger or sadness without knowing why. Consciousness lets you actually observe the feeling, like, oh, I'm actually feeling anxious right now, which helps you manage it instead of just being swept away by it.
Okay, so how do children?
It's kind of a slow burn. It starts with pure instinct, where a baby just reacts to sounds and colors. Then, as they grow, they start to realize they are separate from the world around them. The real shift happens when they hit that aha moment around 18 months to 2 years, where they realize that the face in the mirror is actually them. From there, language kicks in and they can actually label those internal feelings, which lets their awareness get a lot more sophisticated.
Okay, so why is self awareness? What is self awareness?
That's the mirror test in action. Self awareness is when you're not just experiencing life, but you're experiencing yourself, experiencing it. It's the difference between being angry and thinking, I'm being really angry right now. You're essentially becoming your own observer.
Okay, so why is self awareness important?
It's basically the ultimate cheat code for life because when you can actually see your own blind spots, you stop making the same mistakes over and over. It's the difference between feeling a mood and understanding the why behind it, which lets you actually change how you show up for people instead of just reacting on autopilot.
Okay, so how have people studied consciousness throughout history?
It's been a pretty wild ride, mostly because the goalposts keep moving. For a long time, it was purely a philosophical game. Early thinkers like Plato or Descartes viewed consciousness as something separate from the body, almost like a ghost in the machine. For centuries, the soul was the only way to explain why we feel like people instead of just biological robots. Then, in the 19th and 20th centuries, the focus shifted to psychology with people like William James starting to look at the stream of consciousnesses as a continuous flow of experience. Now, we've basically moved the lab into the brain. Neuroscientists use tools like fMRI to see which parts of the brain light up when we're aware of something, trying to find the neural correlates of consciousness. We've gone from asking if we have souls to asking which specific neurons are firing when we remember a childhood birthday. Want me to go deeper into any of those eras?
Okay. So, what role does the brain play in consciousness?
It's basically the hardware that makes the whole thing possible. Think of it like a massive switchboard. Your brain takes in all those raw signals from your senses, filters out the noise, and integrates them into one coherent experience. Without that physical coordination, you wouldn't have a story of your life. You just have a bunch of disconnected sensations.
Okay. So, how does memory connect with consciousness?
Memory is the thread that holds everything together. Without memory, every moment would be a brand new first date. You'd be aware of the person in front of you, but you wouldn't know they're your best friend. Consciousness is what's happening right now, but memory is what gives that moment meaning by connecting it to everything that happened before. It's basically the story your brain tells you about who you are.
Okay.
You're rolling through
So,
these questions.
consciousness.
Sleep is basically the ultimate brain maintenance mode. When you drift off, your consciousness doesn't just shut down like a light switch, it just changes channels. You check out of the physical world, but your brain still keeps the lights on behind the scenes, processing the day's events and running simulation mode through your dreams. It's like your internal software is running a massive defrag while you're just along for the ride.
Okay. So, why are dreams connected? Yes.
Dreams are like the brain's blind spot. In dreams, your brain is creating an entire reality without any input from the outside world, which proves that consciousness can exist entirely independently of your senses. It's one of the few times scientists can study the mind when the external data stream is completely cut off, making it a goldmine for figuring out how the brain constructs experience.
Okay. So, as under
You've got a script. Wait, what?
wait.
My bad. Yeah, it's already helping. We've already got the brain scans and the fMRIs to see what the biology is doing. But the real cliffhanger is things like Neuralink. If we can actually bridge the gap between a brain and a computer, it forces us to ask the scary questions. Like, if you can upload a memory or a thought to a hard drive, is that still you, or is it just a very good photocopy of you?
Okay.
It's basically weight training for your brain. Most of us spend our lives narrating our experience, like, I can't believe this is happening, or why is this traffic so bad? Mindfulness is the practice of just dropping the narration and actually looking at the event. It widens that gap we talked about. So instead of being the storm, you're just the person watching the storm from a window. It takes consciousness from something that just happens to you to something you can actually steer.
So, can consciousness be different from person to person?
You're a machine. What else you got?
Different from person to person?
My bad, just a little glitch. It's fascinating because the world looks the same, but we don't necessarily perceive it the same way. It's called qualia. Think about the color red. We both call it red, but the actual experience of that color in your head might be totally different from mine. Our memories and emotions color everything we see. So two people can walk into the same room and walk out with two completely different versions of what happened. It's like we're all wearing a unique set of filters that we can't take.
Okay. So, how would we express our thoughts?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that last part. You think you could say that one more time?
Okay. How does language help us express our thoughts?
It's the bridge from the internal to the external. Without language, a thought is just a hazy feeling or an image in your head. Language lets you take that abstract cloud of a thought and condense it into a word or sentence. It's how we translate a private internal experience into something another person can actually hold and understand, which is basically the only way we know we're not the only ones seeing the world this way.
Okay. So, a word question about.
Roll. Go for it.
Okay. Word questions about consciousness are still unanswered.
I'm listening. That sounds like the hard problem of consciousness. Are you between like live? What what part of that mystery are you stuck on?
What is one thing you would like people to understand about consciousness?
Ooh, the plot twist where I actually get to share my take. That I'd want people to see consciousness as a practice, not just a state of being. Most of us spend our lives on autopilot, just reacting to the world. But the real magic happens when you realize you can actually observe your own thoughts and feelings. It's the difference between step back and just watch. You stop being a passenger in your own life and you actually get to start steering.
Okay. That brings us to the end of today's interview. I would like for sharing such interesting insights about conscious tracing the evolution of awareness. I I really enjoyed this conversation and learned many new things about consciousness and awareness. Thank you everyone for watching and see you in the next interview. Goodbye.